Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to finish out My Personal Weatherman. We're at the last episode. It's the finale. We just watched the penultimate. I obsessed for like 30 minutes about this damn translation. Yeah, no, I'm ready to just jump into the next episode. We got Segasaki's POV last episode from when they were in college until now, and kind of revealed like the deep yawning loneliness that he's been feeling this whole time, and like probably the impact that loneliness has had on his obsessive controlling behavior with Dio. And we ended up with the typhoon happening. Who knows how long this typhoon is going to last. I can't remember if they said it in one of the weather reports, but I don't remember it. But I imagine at least a couple of days, few days maybe. Dio went out to go get the laundry, and they've been kind of estranged for however many days, weeks, whatever, since their last fight. And Segasaki just freaked out and decided to tie him up and throw him in bed and insinuate that he's never going to let him leave the apartment again. Which is categorically crazy. So let's see how it shakes out. Alright, let's go. This is so crazy, y'all.
どうしてこんなことに俺の気持ち考えたことある
About him getting the laundry?
ねえよな理解する気ねえもんな俺の
He done ignored all the red flags up to this point, and that's why we're here. This is a crazy thing to say. I can't. You said that shit. You kind of meant it. A part of you meant that, okay?
あれ変だなバカみたいにたくさんお前どうしたら俺だけのものになるの
He already is, babe. Like, this is...
今まで気づかずにいられたんだどうせ俺なんて
This is some straight up yaoi manga shit.
何これ心臓痛い息できない
They about to fuck, y'all. They about to fuck.
あんたとしかこんなことしたことねえよ
No, you really are. That man was a whole ass version before this. It was very clear that you're his first and only. I don't even know if you're his first and only man or first and only everything.
違うなダメ
Definitely man.
未来英語を他の誰ともしないと誓え
What if you die?
どこがいいの
Yeah.
いややばいだろ
I have thoughts about it, and I'll talk about it. I don't know how it was in the manga, but I have thoughts about it.
マジでやばい
Like, it's easy to sit here and compare these two, My Beautiful Man and the show, because I think some of the dynamics are similar. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it after. Yeah. They're about to fuck. Of course. They're gonna have, they're gonna sex their feelings away.
先にこれ外して無理寒いんだろ風呂沸かしてくる引かないで
He said, listen, I don't care if I'm sick. How long has it been since they had sex?
もう知らねえから
At least a few days. However long since their last fight, I assume. Ooh, is he gonna sneeze again? No, that's a little bit nasty. This is a post-COVID world. Well, not really post-COVID, but this is a COVID world we're living in.
超鈍感なお前にも俺の気持ちが分かるようにしてやれよ覚悟できてんだろうな
Please don't sneeze in his face. Sweet Jesus, do not sneeze in his face. I'm so concerned.
メガネって何のこと
He
あんたメガネなんてかけ
he
てた
literally does not know what you're talking about.
は漫画
Did he not notice that that manga was about you too? He did not know that.
てかお前顔赤いぞ
Yeah, he's sick.
あっつ
Yeah, put his ass in the bath.
じゃねえか瀬ヶ崎です
まさかのご本人登場
That's so embarrassing.
本当にすいません漫画の件も重ね重ね本当にすいませんでした
Like, he really does not know what you're talking about.
ちょっとした出来心が万抜につながってしまってそして薄めの本にこの場合はですね物理的に薄いだけでしてミームの意味としての薄い本とはまたちょっと違うというか
詳しく教えていただけますか
Just read it. It's published now.
お前こういうのが言われたいんだ
うん
いや漫画なんで現実じゃないんであそう
His favorite fucking sentence.
会社に行けばいくらでもいる綺麗な女性よりも数えきれない視聴者の中の誰よりも家で待っていてくれてる君がいいんだ
Cheesy.
他の誰かと仲良くしてあんまり嫉妬させないで
He definitely said that shit.
いくら俺でも優しくできなくなる
He definitely did that shit.
信じて
手羽先さん怒ってなかった
うん多分漫画自体には特に何も起こってなかったけど
あ即売会4日だけどだよちゃんこれそう
Is it also erotic?
どうだろ
Is
手羽
he,
先さん同伴
was
で来
he
てくれて
reading
ね
erotica
いや
about
うバレる
himself?
でしょ設定はフェイク入れてるけどビジュは寄せまくってるじゃん
しゃあないあっくん助手すっか
夫さん売れっ子なんだからやめてあげてしょうがない
I guess we're not gonna address his kidnapping. I'm sorry, that was so crazy. Not gonna interrogate it at all.
だってあの人は
At least they all know where they stand, though. Now. He's not doubting that he's obsessed with him after the kidnapping.
またあの女と仲良く通話してたのかてめ
That's his
通話というか。
best friend.
一緒にカフェで作業してただけで
えはあのメガネも
いやマンさんだけ
お前他に友達とかいないの
いや
Will
い
you
るけど
like any of them?
みんな夜型だし一緒に昼に作業できるのマンさんしかいないし
Do you have
Wagata.
friends?
じゃあ交換条件飲むなら外であぐらは許してやるその日の夜は絶対抱かせろ
Yeah, but every time he's with her, he'll be thinking about having sex with him. Is that what he wants? Is that every time you're with her, you're thinking about me kind of thing? No, you weren't joking. You were dead fucking serious.
その代わり俺が帰ったら通話中だろうが何だろうが、玄関まで来い。でお帰りって言え。
That's what he really wants. Okay.
本当
At least he's talking about what he wants in this relationship instead of just springing it on him.
ちょっとカレーできんのに。いい。先に食いたいもんできた。
He said that. Turn the hot pot off though. Oh, we're getting the outro scenes. Is this the final scene of the episode?
ダメだった。
Oh yeah, because he's never told him about the curry thing. Yeah, it's just his little secret. And I guess technically the girls and her husband, because she told her husband. They're the only ones that know that he fell for him because of his terrible curry.
悪くね。悪くね。本当？
Final episode of My Personal Weatherman did absolutely nothing to it's not a bad drama at all. Like, it was very enjoyable. I was very entertained. I liked all the characters. I liked their relationships with each other and everything. I would say the only thing that I didn't really like, absolutely didn't like, was the Weather Girl side story that didn't go anywhere, that didn't mean anything, that didn't matter at all. Like, I thought that maybe they would turn it around in the last 2 episodes and like actually make that whole plot worth the time we spent on it, but they didn't. So that all could have been written completely out of the story, and maybe we would have had more time to actually, you know, unpack whatever childhood trauma this man been through that made him feel like he has to enter into a relationship with such a severe power imbalance in order to make the other person stay with him. And again, I don't mean the DS aspects, like that stuff at the end where they finally actually negotiated one of his kinks as much as you could in a TV show, whatever you could portray in a TV show, where he actually said, "This is what I want. Can you do this?" And he was like, "Oh, that's what you wanted. Yeah." And then he, you know, did the action that he wanted. Like, that was actually a negotiation. It was like the first, and, well, I guess not the first, because the first one was technically, do you want to live with me and I'll take care of you, but you got to do everything I say. And then he was like, all right, you know, yeah, let's do that. So that was the first negotiated situation, somewhat negotiated. Wasn't fully, but somewhat negotiated. This one was the second out of all of them. Nothing that happened in between that first scene and this last scene was ever sufficiently negotiated from my particular wish. Certainly not the hostage situation that we had last episode. I'm just gagged that they did not bother to try and unpack that. Like, not get into the root of why he's so emotionally stunted that he would do something like that without actually discussing if it was okay to do something like that with him beforehand. Like, and the only reason that flew is because the writers wrote this dude to feel like it was okay for Segasaki to do that to him. And I feel like it was such a missed opportunity to have like an actual genuine conversation between them two where he actually understood his mindset and his reasons for doing what he was doing. Because I feel like that was the perfect time to reveal something about like whatever heartbreak, whether it was he was abandoned by some kind of parental figure or abandoned by society or cheated on by his ex, one of his exes, whatever, any kind of reason that would actually they could actually talk about, and it would be like a moment of realization for Dio to understand Segasaki's behavior, and through Dio it would be a way for us, the audience, to understand his behavior. Because right now he has given us nothing, so we are just left here thinking that he's actually just crazy. Like he's actually just straight up like an abusive boyfriend. Like, that was crazy. The tracking was kind of crazy. Then the I'm gonna tie you up and then never let you leave the house, and I'm gonna sit here and be like, you can't have other friends and shit like that. That's crazy. Okay? And we're not unpacking it at all. I don't necessarily like, I like a dark romance. I can enjoy a dark romance. Baby, I've watched Hannibal, and I love Hannibal. That's like one of my favorite shows of all time, Hannibal. Like, I can love a dark romance. Don't get me, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I can love a dark romance. But I need us to unpack it. I need us to, like, dig into it. I need us to, like, unfold the characters. I need to be like a character study. I need something. So I wish that this had two more episodes where we could actually sit down and go, hey, why is he like this? And he doesn't necessarily have to fully change or anything like that. Like I said, I'm totally fine with them having this kind of DS sort of dominance and submissive relationship and everything like that. And they have in their home, they have like these negotiated kinks of, hey, when I come home, come to the door even if you're on the phone and say these exact words every time. Like, that's fine. Like, that's totally okay. I can have him go, hey, I want you to say these things like this whenever you're fucking me, like whatever the negotiation is, I'm totally fine with all of that. And it can be, their own thing, their own private thing that they do between them. But I think the thing that's tripping me out is that I feel like we're using that as a gloss over the actual, like, emotional issues between them that they absolutely, like, keep, like, slightly touching on and then just not actually digging into, for both sides really, but mostly for Segasaki. So I can't give this like a 10 out of 10 or anything. Like, it was an enjoyable, like, the acting was great, their chemistry was great, I liked the characters, the set design of the show, the production was great. It's just that little part, like, I wish they had given themselves 2 extra episodes to actually dig into, like, why he's so frightened of abandonment, and explain a little bit more about his personal life, his home life, his younger life before he met, like, something that would make us understand why he's the way he is. Yeah, and I wish we had the ability to, like, just have Dio see that part of it, see that vulnerability, and make more of, like he is making a conscious decision to stay in this relationship. It's not like he's not a consenting adult, and I do think he's a consenting adult. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's not consenting or anything. I think that he's a consenting adult, but I feel like it feels less like he's walking into this with eyes wide open about who Segasaki is, and more like it still feels like he's ignoring the things about him that are unnerving or that are a red flag instead of actually confronting them face on, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like he's like, all right, these are the things about Segasaki that I like, and these are the things about him that I don't like, and this is the root cause of the things that I don't like. And I'm going to actually genuinely confront that, understand all aspects of it, and still make a choice to be with him despite those. Or maybe because of those. Whatever. Like, I don't feel like he's making that kind of a conscious decision. And I think that's a problem for me. It doesn't feel like he saw the dark parts of him in the sense that he kidnapped him, but he didn't see the dark parts of him, like understanding what made him that way. Why is he like this? What fears does he has other than, because like the only thing we know about Segasaki is that he's a weatherman. He didn't have any friends that he genuinely liked in college. It seemingly doesn't have any friends now because he has never once mentioned a friend, by the way. In the modern time, and he's possessive and obsessive, codependent, and is deathly afraid of being alone and being abandoned by Dio. Those are the things that we know, but we don't know why any of that. We don't know why he couldn't make genuine friends in college. We don't know why he doesn't seem to have any friends now. We don't know why he's so obsessively possessive of Dio. We don't know why he even decided to become a weatherman other than he's knowledgeable about the weather. Like, we don't even know anything about him outside of everything that happens in this one little tiny apartment. And so that I feel like it's like I feel like I understand Dio and why he makes the choices that he makes for the most part. Even Dio, though, we still don't know anything like about his family situation or anything. This is the last episode was the first time that we ever got a hint that he had friends other than Mansan. That was the first hint. Mansan and her husband. It was the first time we ever got news that he had other friends. So like I feel like there's an emptiness in this story because we haven't spent time actually unpacking that. If we had spent another 2 to 4 episodes getting to know them outside of their relationship with each other, the closest we got was Dio and his manga desire to become a mangaka. Like I said, the stuff with Segasaki being a weatherman just felt really empty and felt really useless because we didn't do anything with it. We didn't like dig into his work relationships other than that one girl who had a crush on him that didn't go anywhere because we never saw her again, like after like 3 appearances. That's what I mean. It feels a bit empty. It just feels a bit empty. And I wish it wasn't so hollow there because then I could enjoy the rest of it more. And I mentioned this, and I just remembered I want to talk about it. The comparison that I know probably people are making between this and My Beautiful Man. And the main reason is that there are certain aspects of it that's very similar. You have 2 people who are deathly lonely, right? You have one who, was complicit, part of whatever the bullying of the other, whatever you want to say about it. We have one is a super famous person on TV and one is not, we have them entering into vaguely, not quite fully, but sort of hinting at DS relationship, where they have like a very interesting dynamic that seems from the outside to be like toxic or abusive in some kind of way, but actually within their world it's not. Like those similarities are enough that it's obvious why people would make comparisons between them. It really are. They really are. And they're both made off of a manga, so I'm not saying that one is like copying the other, but they're like pretty familiar BL tropes. But I still think that the way My Beautiful Man handled all of those was better. My Beautiful Man took the time to dig into the motivations of our principal characters in a way that this show did not. Like, we know why Kouhei is the way he is because of his family, because of him growing up, was it from divorced parents who remarried his mom or something like that, remarried, and then they had more kids and he just felt isolated from them. Like, there was a whole thing, and then the only way he felt connection was, you know, wanting to be on TV and wanting attention because he got absolutely none after his I think it was his mom got remarried. Like, so he became more and more absorbed into needing validation from other people. And that led him, when he was in school, to hang out with a bunch of people who kept singing his praises simply because they fed that need in him for attention, validation, care. And even though he fell in with a bunch of people who were fake to him, it was still better to him than being alone all the time. And that very desire also is the thing that made him fall for Hira, because sorry about that, because Hira also looked at him with complete adoration. And so that weight of his gaze is what made him fall in love with him in the first place, or at least at the beginning of it. And the continued devotion allowed him to finally open himself and become vulnerable more and more and more, even though he was totally tsundere and very standoffish. Like that, like I can trace every bit of his character, of Kyoi's character, from beginning to the end of that series. And that's because the character work in My Beautiful Man was really well done. Same thing for Hira. Like, him very much coded like he's on the spectrum, by the way. But feeling isolation because he can't engage with society in the same way that other people do. Even his parents, they didn't go into that as much, but even his parents just deciding to fuck off and leave their kid alone in the grandfather's house was a bit like, so he was very isolated. So he was basically raising himself for like the last year of high school, and all through college. And, you know, that isolation, but he enjoyed that isolation because interacting with other people was very difficult for him for a variety of reasons, one of which was his stutter and the way people reacted to his stutter and the way people bullied him because of it. And he felt like it was easier to experience life through the lens of a camera, and he wants to distance himself from other people, but he also has a tendency to hyper-focus. And so when he saw Kouhei and he found him beautiful in a way that nobody else in the world he'd ever seen he hyper-focused on him, and Kouhei became the doorway through which Hira was able to finally interact with the world again. And ease some of the, like, he doesn't verbalize it fully, but he was lonely being somebody who only experienced the world through a camera. Like, it's not necessarily that he wanted to interact with everyone because he doesn't like people, but he does want to be part of the world in some way. And Kouhei was his way to finally, like, find a way to interact with the world in a safe way that he can control. You know, and that is what caused him to fall for Kouhei, and the desire to have control, to find something that can give him structure. That is also the thing that drew him to Kouhei, because Kouhei has a very domineering and intense personality, and his commands were something that he found liberating, that Hira found liberating. And so that aspect of their relationship really matched up well together. Like I said, I can trace the motivations and how they ended up where they ended up from beginning to end in that show. And it's very easy to understand. I don't want to say easy to understand, because some people apparently struggle with it. But it's clear, especially as the story went on more and more and more into season 2 and into the movie, why they fell for each other and why they are actually perfect for each other. Whereas here, I can see the bare bones of why they would fall for each other, but because that base of character and character exploration isn't there, it's hard to hold on to their relationship as it's hard to trace the evolution of their relationship. And it feels quite empty, because I feel like they don't have that base written out in a solid way, you know. So I didn't want to. I don't always love comparing shows or movies or whatever stories, just simply because sometimes people get too caught up in that, and they tend to do that and as a way completely write off one or the other of the story. And I don't want to completely write off My Personal Weatherman, because there were things about it that were very enjoyable. But I think that aspect of it, the lack of genuine character exploration, actually hurt it in the end. In a way that I really wish we had spent some time with it. I don't know how it is in the manga. Maybe in the manga they explore it more. Let me know if you've read the manga. Let me know if in the manga they actually explore why they are the way they are, and what, I don't want to say what they see in each other, because I do understand what they see in each other, but I don't know. Maybe it is what I want to say. Maybe they explore. I just hope that they explore it a little bit better in the written story, in the drawn story. So we'll see. Honestly, yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. Again, I don't want to slag this off. It was very enjoyable, fun. I had a great time. I laughed a lot. I was, gagged quite a few times. It was very engaging. I just feel like it dropped because of the lack of, character exploration and the emptiness that I felt there. And I don't usually like to grade things too, because I think that's arbitrary, and I could watch this show again in a year and change my grading. That's another thing. But I like to just discuss my feelings about it and why I think the way that I think. But yeah, something about that lack of character, meat, really made me kind of drop this down in my rating, and in my feelings about it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the show overall. Do you guys understand what I mean about the difference between this show and My Beautiful Man, and why that worked and this one didn't? Even though that one arguably had the more toxic relationship, arguably, he was straight up his bully. Kouhei was straight up Hira's bully. I know he didn't quite mean it that way, but he was. And they also had a very under-negotiated relationship. But something about it felt more raw, more genuine, more character-driven, whereas this felt like moments. It felt like the story was trying to get from moment to moment to moment, oh, this is the point where we reveal that they're sleeping together. It's not just a social arrangement. This is the point when their best friend finds out. This is the point when they have a fight. This is the point when they make up. This is the jealousy arc. Like, that's what it feels. It feels like pieces that they're putting together and you're missing bits of the puzzle, so you never get the whole picture. That's why it feels a bit empty to me. And so it doesn't feel as driven by character. It feels like it's driven by plot moments that they want to get to, you know? Anyway, I don't want to slag it off, and I don't want to spend, you know, like a bunch of time just saying, oh, this is trash, because it's not trash. It's just, you know, a little bit disappointing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you feel about it. Do you feel the same way? If you've seen My Beautiful Man, do you feel the same way in terms of like the emptiness versus the fullness? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but I feel like that's how it's sitting. Anyway, feel free to go over to my Patreon for full length and for access to other shows, stuff that I either can't or decided not to put up on YouTube. By the time you're seeing this on YouTube, you'll of course have a bunch of other stuff over on my Patreon to see. So hopefully by that point I will have fully launched my channel, so you'll be seeing, you know, actual like weekly releases on my Patreon, including the library and the archive of all the stuff that I'm watching. So we'll see. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Baby, it's whatever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.